Howdy do, y'all. Tables here. So, new Transfigure gems just got updated in the POB, thanks to local identity. Your hard work is very appreciated. Now, this is gonna blow your mind, okay? So, nobody really runs SRS, but I really like it. But I only like to do it one way, right? I can't be bothered with summoning 20 minions. I can't stand it. I'd rather just never play the build. So I use Mark of the Red Covenant. Gives us a lot of juicy stuff, and I only have to run and manage 5 summon Raging Spirits. This is by far my tankiest character, and I think we're going to make it even more tanky when I end up redesigning it. At least not fully, but probably tweaking it a little bit. Long story short is this build is mega buffed. This build, just swapping a single gem, this build is just absolutely buffed. It's blowing my mind right now. So this is what I want to go over with you guys, right? We haven't invested in crit multi in any way. We're max block. Fizz hit's a little low, something I need to fix on this build. But the defenses are sound. Certainly a lot better defenses than the golem stacking characters that I put forth for league start this league. This is considerably more tanky, and the damage is on par with the arc build, and actually a little bit more. So let's go over it. I'm not going to keep, I don't want to make too long of a stupid intro. So here's the rub, right? Mark of the Red Covenant, 5. This is our HP. We're scaling HP through various means: Ghastly Eye Jewels, Cluster Jewel, some Endurance Charge generation from Enduring Composure, and scaling the hell out of our SRS. So my SRS was level 21. We actually have +9, so it is a level 30 SRS, right? So we're at like 14.5 million damage for minion instability, which is, it's not bad. It's pretty good. Now, I want you to watch the full DPS, right? You notice, we have 5 here, right? Let's go ahead and uncheck this. And I'm just going to take this helmet completely off. And we're just going to run a naked helm. We're not even going to run a helm. I put this on, and now we're at almost 170,000 life and 25 million DPS. Just by switching to the transfigured gem. It's insane, right? Still level 30. And so we can even take that further. So let's just put on a whatever I just picked a helmet at random, whatever. Now we're at 28 million just by adding 2 more. So we're at level 32 SRS. Then just getting another 5 levels puts us at 99. We come into the crit multi wheel for minions. And suddenly we're at 37 million damage. 37 million from 14.5 by getting 5 more levels and swapping a gem. That's it. I'm beside myself. This is the build that I've worked on the most. I've put so many hours into this. I've league started this. I've tested the leveling. I've tested the in-game. I've gone into the depths with this build. And I'm shook. I'm shook to go from 14.5 million to 37 million. Now, I think there's going to be a little bit of an issue with the cast rate, so I'm not going to hold this number, and I don't think this number is going to stay where it's at. And I'll tell you why. I want to fix the fizz hit, and I would like this build to be a fair bit more tanky, and I'm willing to sacrifice DPS. I got the build in last league. I got it to about 19 million DPS, and it felt really nice. It did. It felt really good. And one of the things that made it feel leaps and bounds better, which you might end up laughing at me, but trust me when I say this, it changes the mapping experience from brutal and terrible to actually quite nice and very smooth. And I run Ignite Prolif on my Minion Instability build. And I drop off I drop off Conk Effect. Right? We lose a ton of damage, but we have like almost 900,000 Ignite DPS. Like that, this makes mapping not even tolerable. It makes it enjoyable. So, if anyone's, ever used this build or ever played a Minion Instability build, you'll understand why Ignite Prolif is so important for mapping. It sucks that it requires a gem swap, and you really don't even have to use, Conk Effect. You could just use Ignite Prolif for bossing too. I mean, you're at like 26 million damage. It's insane. But that's neither here nor there. I do want to make the build a little bit more tanky and a little bit more reliable in taking hits when we end up not blocking, because that will happen. And I'm also a bit concerned about the cast rate, because it is a bit of a slower cast on Enormity. So that is certainly something to keep in mind. But I mean, I'm on cloud 9 right now. This build is looking fantastic. And this is going to change, what mods we're going to go for. Do I even need? I mean, do I realistically even need to add any crit multi in the build? I mean, my first thought is no. Right? I mean, it's fine the way it is. And if I can just make the build a little bit more tanky, maybe we sit somewhere around 25 mil DPS, but we're a lot more tanky. I think that's for the better. So that's the update. That's the build. This is looking redonkulous. This is looking really, really, really insane. Minion Instability it was alive and well before this league, but nobody liked him. And I think they're going to change their tune when they're doing 30, 35 million DPS on a boss. On, like, not that much investment, boys. Like, this shit is not very expensive. This is like, I mean, yeah, it's in-game gear, but this is all craftable. This is not an expensive build. This tree, this cluster is nothing. This build is nothing. You barely invest in this build, and we're doing over 25 million DPS with Ignite Prolif. You swap in Conk Effect, we're 30 plus. I can't even believe it. I'm actually beside myself. So I'm gonna be tinkering with this build. I have a week's worth of work to do, and then I'm off for a week for Christmas. So be expecting updates on SRS, and I am likely to re-level this and retest it. But if I don't do any significant changes other than to defense, it plays exactly the same. So I'm probably not going to bother re-leveling it, because I know it's sound, because I've already done that work. So that's kind of where I'm at on that point. But anyways, I'm not going to keep you guys any longer than I already have. SRS is insane. Do yourself a favor, like, subscribe, follow the updates, and get your hands on this build. I mean, you could probably just take this POB right now and you're off to the races. Honestly, I don't even know what to say. I'm over the moon. This is a fantastic build. Yeah, you guys have a good one. SRS is crazy. I love it. Love you guys. Talk to you guys soon. Be good. Take care of yourselves.